So I hope you enjoy that video. It certainly has had an impact on me, thinking about how I can get my students to trust me. What I want to point out is that in order to facilitate that interaction, in order to give Jesse an opportunity to show that student that he believed in him and that the student was ready to share with the class, Jesse needed a certain structure in his class. And the structure he needed was by basing his class in a think, pair, share model. He needed time for his students to think and write their initial ideas. And during that time, Jesse didn't sit back, right? He was cruising his classroom. He was monitoring for student work. He was looking to see which students are ready to engage and are there students that I can support in making them feel excited and confident to engage in this discussion. After we give students think and write time, we ask them to pair up. Talk with your partner. Let's rehearse our comments. I know what you're thinking about, but we all need practice in developing our voice before we share out with the larger group. And for me in my work, think, pair, share is really the structure that I lean on heavily, certainly as we can even see in this video. I've thrown a source at you, given you time to reflect on it, and then we share out even though that we're in an asynchronous structure. So that is really the structure of class that facilitates trust and being willing to take risks for students. Here are some other things that I've been thinking about as I prepared this presentation for things I do in the moment to generate trust. First of all, I try to see students as much as I can in spaces other than my own classroom, right? Going to volleyball games, going to the cafeteria, and even in the cafeteria saying, hey, I loved what you wrote in class, or hey, I heard that you did a great volleyball game, right? Showing students that you see them as people builds their trust. I also spend a lot of time in the hallways because that's a time where I can give students high fives for shining in class, or let them know that we have a lesson coming up that I'm nervous about and I want their support. Okay, so always showing that you see them. Especially in the remote space, I build trust by reaching out to families and to students themselves. If a student produced some good work online, shoot them a text, shoot their parents a call and say, hey, your kid did an awesome thing. And that makes it easier when they struggle that you can call a family and you can say, hey, the work isn't done today, what's going on? And the family knows that you are there to support the kid and that you're not coming from a place of threat, but rather from a place of support. And finally, when we get back into the classroom, building trust is about decreasing threat. And the way that we do that is by not making it visible when the student is doing the wrong thing, right? If a kid has their head down or if they interrupted or something like that, try your best to be nonverbal. Write a Post-it note on their desk and say, how's it going? Is there anything I can support with? Or just walk towards them or give them a pat on the back. Let them know that you're there for them. The more we can do that up front, the less we have to react to negative behaviors because students trust us and they buy what we're selling as far as delivering a strong lesson that has them in mind. So that's pretty much the end of my session. What we're going to do now is have you do some thinking and producing some ideas. First, we're going to reflect specifically on this in-the-moment trust generators. What are the things we can do without planning them in advance in a lesson plan to generate trust, like Jesse did? After that, we're going to do an open-ended question where you reflect on the session as a whole. And finally, we're going to do a collaborate board. And I'd like to get meta and think, what are some choices that I made in delivering this session that either made it more engaging or that helped to deliver content so that we can name best practices in virtual teaching as we get ready for this crazy school year we're about to embark on. Okay, thanks for hanging out with me. And it's been a pleasure sharing some of these topics with you.